welcome to the show. Hope everybody is doing well today. Loud music, per usual. Let's let that music come down. I need to do something about that. Need to edit that intro there. But anyway, as the music starts to subside a bit, how is everybody doing this fine Saturday afternoon? Hope you're all doing very well. This is the almost awesome show, episode 14. And I am, per usual, your host, Jake from Jacob Andrews Reviews. Sorry, I'm a little bit off my game today. Things are a little bit different today. You see, as you'll see, I'm all alone. It's just me today. Nick, unfortunately, had something come up he had to do last minute, so it's just me. I didn't have a guest scheduled for today. I was working on one, but I said, it's cool. Me and Nick will do it, and I've got another time for them slotted in down the line in a week or two, or in a show or two. So it's just me, all by myself. It's kind of like the old show I used to do, my old podcast, all by my lonesome. However, I'm not really set up for a one-man show, so we're going to get this view quite a bit. It's all good, though. We're going to make this thing happen anyway. I've got some stories to talk about today, a little bit of news, probably, and I say this all the time, but it's probably going to be a bit of a shorter show. Every time I say that, it ends up being long. But seeing as how I'm the only one here to talk, nobody to bounce anything off of, it probably will be a little bit shorter, but it's all good. We still got some stuff to talk about. I will be able to interact with the chat a bit more. Looks like my man Antonio's here. What is up, Antonio? Looks like he missed the last show, and he has a random work meeting right now. It's all good. Don't watch this in your meeting. They probably wouldn't appreciate it. Well, I mean, unless you think that they'll all become fans and want to join the show and start subscribing to the channel and everything, then absolutely watch it during your meeting. Anyway, a little bit looser, more casual show today. I guess we can go ahead and jump into this week's news bits. You know, per usual, the little news stories we have that aren't quite big enough for their own little stories. We'll jump into those right quick, or I'll jump into those because it's just me. I'm all by myself. It's okay. I think I can handle it. So let's jump into this week's news bits and talk about those little stories for the week that we don't want to forget, but aren't quite big enough to have their own little featured spotlight story here on the show. First up, I don't really know who this is for, and I'm actually kind of surprised about this, but The Nun 2 is a thing, I guess, and it has a release date, not an exact date, but a time set for fall 2023. Okay. Didn't The Nun bomb? Wasn't it? I didn't see it. I saw The Conjuring. I haven't seen The Nun. But my understanding was that it was pretty shit. So, is anybody looking for this? Or anybody looking forward to this? I don't know. But it's coming. That's for damn sure. In about a year. So, fall. We're entering fall now. Well, we'll be going into fall, about a month from now. So, in about a year and some change, we're going to get, somebody's going to get, I probably won't see it, The Nun 2. So if you are a huge Nun fan, or you're just like everything Conjureverse, would it be Conjureverse? It's the Conjuring universe. I feel like they always have to have these little acronyms, or not acronyms, but like shortened versions of these things. I'm going to go with Conjureverse. That sounds good. If nobody else has said that as of yet, I'm going to, what do they call it, copyright that. But Conjureverse. Anytime somebody says it, I get royalties. Yeah, I'm sure. Let's see if that works out. But The Nun 2 is coming in about a year and some change in fall 2023, if that's your thing. Also, we have from A24, they have announced that the Front Room is a thing that is happening. What the Front Room is the directorial debut of the Egger brothers, or Eggers brothers, I'm sorry. You may be wondering, who the hell is that? That is Sam and Max, great game by the way, but it's totally separate subject, but Sam and Max Eggers, they are the siblings of Robert Eggers. That name may ring a bell. He is the gentleman who made things such as the Vivitch. Yes, I know it's the Witch, but I can't help but call it the Vivitch because of the way that they titled it. And The Lighthouse, the extremely out there and weird lighthouse that till this day, I'm not really sure if I like that movie or not. I either hated it or loved it. I can't decide. but I couldn't stop watching it. And of course, one of my favorite films of this past year, or this year that we're in right now, The Northman. Awesome movie. Well, this is his brothers, I think younger brothers, Sam and Max. They are doing their directorial debut of The Front Room from A24, so staying in line with their brother's work and the people he does business with. And they have cast Brandy. Yeah, Brandy, the singer, the young lady singer. I think she's on like Disney Channel and stuff like that. She was in a Cinderella movie or something. I don't remember. I don't really follow her that much. But she is cast in this film. Not much is known about it, except that it is going to be a thriller of sorts. So that's coming soon from A24. So if you are a Robert Eggers fan, well, his brothers are making a movie, and hopefully they're in the same wheelhouse as Big Bro Robert. We'll find out. It does not give a release date from the story that I saw, at least, but it's coming soon at some point somewhere to you. The Front Room. Check it out whenever it comes out. Okay, also, here's a kind of a heartwarming, cool little story, something that's coming from tragedy. I don't know if we call it tragedy, but an unfortunate event. Nichelle Nichols, which is the name of Lieutenant Uhura from the original Star Trek TV show, and the movies, the first movies, the ones with Captain Kirk and whatnot, not the new ones. But she is, you may know, she recently passed away. She was 80-something years old. She lived a very long, fruitful life. Did a whole lot of cool things, worked with NASA, all kinds of cool things throughout her life. Lived a very fruitful life. She passed away at that time. I can't remember from what. It may have just been natural causes. Not sure, but she's no longer with us. Which is unfortunate, but part or some of her ashes, she was cremated apparently, but some, not all, but some of her ashes are going up with a space mission that is launching here soon. There's not an exact date, but soon from Cape Canaveral, and they're going to launch some of her ashes out into space so that she can be as this report says, and I mean, I guess it makes sense, the first person to be their ashes to be spread across more or less the universe. So she is going out. It's a fitting end for such a phenomenal actress and icon. So part of her will be out in the universe forever. I think that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty neat. That's a nice little, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a tragedy because she lived a very long, fruitful life. It's unfortunate that she did pass and went along and is no longer with us, but, you know, that's just how life is. It happens. And it's pretty neat that, you know, they're sending her ashes out into space. Now, this ship that's going up, it's not going up just to do that. It's going up for other purposes, but they're sending the ashes along with it. So, but you know, that's pretty neat, pretty cool, pretty heartwarming. I think I like that. You know what I mean. I like that. All right, so moving on. House of Dragon. Any of you that would possibly be interested in that show, which there are quite a few because it broke records on its premiere with 10 million viewers at its premiere. The Game of Thrones prequel, which Game of Thrones, awesome show. I have not seen House of Dragon. I wanted to wait until all of it was out so I could just kind of binge it. But Game of Thrones I really enjoyed. Even the last season, which was nowhere near as good as the rest of them, there was stuff about it I liked. But House of Dragon getting great reviews. Everybody's really liking it thus far. It has already been greenlit, or it is officially being greenlit now for a season 2. So we're getting more House of Dragon, more Game of Thrones prequel, and I'm sure HBO and Warner are very happy about that because they want and definitely need that Game of Thrones style hit on their hands because they are having some issues over there at the House of Warner. But hey, cool. I hear it's a good show. I cannot comment on it either way because I have not yet seen it, but we're getting season 2 at least. We'll see how it goes. All right, almost done here with the news bits. Like I said, not a whole lot today and all by myself. But High on Life, which is a new game coming from Justin Roiland, the creator of Rick and Morty, amongst other things. It's not out yet, but it is coming soon. It's a first-person shooter with a twist and a sense of humor. We talked briefly about it last Wednesday because it was at Gamescom. Well, they have just said, Justin Roiland said that there are, or it wasn't actually him that said it, he's the creator of the game, but someone involved with the game said that the game is going to have, it comes out very soon, the game is going to have 20 Justin Roiland shorts and 4 feature-length films in it. Like, there's a part of the game where you can go, and apparently there's a TV and a sofa and all that, and you can just go sit down and watch all this stuff. So hours and hours and hours of content. It did not say what the feature-length films were. I don't think that they were Justin Roiland films, because I don't know if he's made films besides like some Rick and Morty films or something like that, but they may be, but it made it sound as if they're different films, probably public domain films or something. But he did make, I'm assuming they made, the 20 shorts are his. They're shorts of his creation. Whether they were made just for this game or they're past shorts, I don't know. They didn't really specify. But they're in there. So a whole lot of content. You can just go down, sit down in the game and watch. That's very meta. Watch TV within the TV. Now, I will say that which is pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat. I will say that the 2 reports I read about this misreported something, in my opinion, unless I'm remembering or reading something incorrectly. They said this is like a first where you can actually watch this type of content, like a content within the content, like a whole movie and stuff like that. That is actually inaccurate. It's not the first. There was a game called The Darkness from Smilebite. It was not Smilebite. Seabird. I cannot remember the name. It was on the Xbox. It was on the original. There's 2 of them, The Darkness and The Darkness 2. But I'm thinking of the first Darkness. Pretty sure, was it the Xbox or the Xbox 360? I can't remember. It was on one of those 2. And it had a part... Starbreeze was the developer, made the Chronicles of Riddick. But it had TVs throughout the game where you could sit there and watch entire episodes and entire movies. There were some movies. It was all public domain stuff, but all that was there. So unless something about the wording I misread, no, this isn't the first time, but it's still cool. I think that's still pretty cool that they've got that that in there, and that's a lot. 20 fucking shorts and 4 whole movies? Damn. I don't know if I'm going to sit there and watch the whole things. Maybe the shorts, but movies? I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? High on Life. Got a whole bunch of content in it, so get ready for that. Okay, last little news bit we got of the day. This concerns DC and the Warner Brothers shakeup they got going over there. All kinds of craziness going on, and we're going to talk more about that in a few minutes, a different aspect of it. But as some of you may know, a few weeks back, I reported that, and many people reported that, David Zaslav, the big head dick over there at Warner Brothers, is looking for his Kevin Feige for the DC. He wants to find someone to spearhead the whole thing, keep it all together, and make some shit happen. Well, he may have found him. Maybe. It was being reported a little bit earlier in the week, and this was actually the original story I was going with when I first saw it. Dan Lin, who is a producer, would be taking that role, and that's not 100% sure at this point. Now they have clarified, but he could be the new DC Kevin Feige. So, okay, I don't know that much about Dan Lin, but from what I saw other people talking, he would not be a bad choice. He's made some good decisions in the past. You'd have to look the guy up. Unfortunately, like I said, this is just a smaller story. I don't have like his filmography or everything he's been involved in over the years, but he is apparently one of the front runners. Now, they did come forward and say, hey, that's because they were reporting that it was going to be him. He was going to be the guy. They have come forward and said, no, not necessarily. You know, we're just talking. But according to one report I read, they're talking salary and stuff like that. So, I mean, you talking salary, unless they can't figure out the salary, yeah, he's going to be the guy, I would imagine. But it's not 100% yet, but don't be surprised if here in the next coming weeks we find out that Dan Lin is the guy, that he ends up being in charge of DC or the DCEU and all that stuff over there moving forward. All I know is they need to get somebody in charge over there and with a singular vision to get this show moving. Even if it's a singular vision that I'm not interested in, they just need to get somebody to get some order going on over there because Jesus Christ, Warner Brothers, while I get that all this you got going on over there is probably the same kind of crap that went down when Marvel was bought by Disney and Star Wars and all these other companies buy these big entities like this, it wasn't put on black. I mean, all your businesses out there, we're hearing all about it. Let's get some good news, which we may have later in the show, possibly, depending on how you look at it. Alrighty, everybody, that is this week's News Bits. That's all we got. If there was something I missed, hey, let me know in the comments. I know there was because there's other news, but that's the shit I wanted to talk about. And that's all that's important, at least in my world. But News Bits, check out, let me know if there's something you wish I had talked about. Maybe I'll pick it up later on. Okie doke. So, let's get a move on with the rest of the show. Before I do, let me look over here, and it looks like Terrific, Valeris Terrific. Hey, did I show up at the end? No, you did not show up at the end, my friend. This is the beginning. It is only the beginning. Now, I am by myself today. This is the first Almost Awesome show I've done by myself. But it's all good. I had planned on doing this show by myself when I originally conceived it. But Nick was, unfortunately, had something he got called away for, so just me today. But we got stories to talk about. How you doing, Terrific? Thank you, by the way. I know you were in my stream yesterday for Saints Row, my little short stream. I don't know if you were still there when I noticed you were in there, and I said thank you for joining my memberships. I appreciate that. How are you doing? I'm doing well. Hope you're doing good too. Yeah, you became a member. I saw that, yeah, or I saw it the day before yesterday. So I wanted to say, if you didn't catch me saying it in my stream yesterday, thanks for becoming a member, man. I really appreciate that. Anybody else out there, please feel free to join my memberships. They are now open. It's only one tier at the moment. I will be adding more later. I just wanted to go ahead and get that ball rolling. I'll flesh that out more as this show and my channel transitions and moves and changes and all that stuff. I'm going to get more tiers in there to give out stuff. I could have put more things in there, but I didn't want to overdo it and like put too much stuff out there and then not be able to deliver on that stuff. So I kind of wanted to get some things concrete down and then be able to come up and say, okay, let's add a little bit more to it. I didn't want to put something out and then you guys be disappointed because I couldn't give what I was saying. So that's why there's only one tier right now. More coming, more on the way. The awesome tier, which is there, is still, I mean, all those, that's not going to change. Those perks will still be there. I'll probably just have a more expensive one and a cheaper one or something. We'll see. You get awesome perks. Yes, you do. You get awesome perks like some emojis and early access to my videos. Though this week, admittedly, I've been like rushing to get the videos out. So that early access has probably only been like an hour at a time. So sorry to those of you. Usually it's like at least a day or two that you get access to the videos in advance. But this week it's been a little less than that because it's been real last minute. Like I was actually, before I came on here, I wasn't editing it. I was just putting the thumbnail together and just the upload text. It had been uploaded, but the upload text to the video, later today's video that's going to launch out. I usually have all that stuff done way in advance. Just a crazy week. I'll get back on track this week. Don't worry. All right, it's worth becoming a member, says Terrific. Hey, man, thanks. I really appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into our main stories of the day. Got some good ones. Hopefully, you guys think the same. So, our first story of the day, and I've also got things a little bit, I've got them not just because I'm by myself today, but because also I was trying something new. I've got things structured a little bit different the way I'm doing this, and you guys won't see it the way I'm taking information in to give it to you guys. So if I look a little confused every now and then, that's why. All right, our first story. Now, this is probably, in my opinion, the biggest story for me. This is the one I was most interested in talking about, and I will try and keep it as brief as possible, but I could probably talk about this at length for a long time, and it's because I've already talked about this thing. We're going to talk about the PlayStation 5, and if you have your ear to the ground at all, you know what we're going to talk about. Now, before we jump right into this story here, I want to say that I reported on this very thing. I say reported as if I'm some journalist or something, but I talked about this thing on the show a few weeks back. And then some other people were talking about it, but it was kind of, not many people were saying a whole lot about it. I did say something about this. Nick and myself, we talked about how if they did this thing, would they do it? And I think Nick had said, no, they won't do that. They won't do that. And even I was saying, it seems like it would be suicide. Crazy they would do that. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about a price hike. I'm talking about the PlayStation 5 going up in price. That's crazy. That's unprecedented. Consoles, for as long as they've been around, as long as they've been a thing, they don't go up in price. They come down in price. If they go up in price, it's because a new model, a pro model, an elite model, or something like that comes out, and that goes up. But that's a new model. No, this is the same model. The PlayStation 5 overall has increased in price. And I'm not talking about scalpers. I'm talking about from Sony themselves. They have raised the price in a lot of places. Not everywhere, though. And that's what we're going to talk about. That and the whole entire price hike as a whole. Sony Interactive Entertainment is increasing the price of the PlayStation 5 across various regions, citing global economic challenges and adverse currency trends as the primary reason. Now, I don't think that that's a lie, the reason why. I believe that. I just don't... I believe that those things are true. I just don't think that's their reason. And we'll get to what I think. CEO Jim Ryan states in a blog post that the decision to increase the recommended retail price for the PS5 has been a difficult one. No, it hasn't. But that global inflation has necessitated it. Regions affected by the price increase include all of Europe. That's a big one. The United Kingdom, the Middle East, Africa, Asia, and parts of North America. The United States, however, is unaffected. So in other words, everywhere but America just about. I mean, there's a couple. I think Australia's not on here, which everything in Australia is fucking expensive anyway. But a lot of the world, everywhere almost, is the price of this thing's going up. Now, how much is it going up? Well, it does say the price increase will only take effect in Japan. Oh, yeah, it's going up in Japan, too. Will only take effect in Japan September 15th due to how the region handles sales through a lottery system. But all other increases are immediate. It looks that the price is somewhere in the 10 to... Because it's different across the board, but it's somewhere in the 10 to 15% range. So about $50 in U.S. money, if you will. I don't know what that was. It's a titty grab. But in U.S. money, that's quotations. Because I know most of my viewers are from the U.S. But, and I know that's another thing, and we're going to talk about the prices here in a moment, but many of my viewers are in the U.S., and the U.S. is the biggest market for just console sales in general. So it makes sense as to why they wouldn't release it, why they wouldn't do that there. But does it? It makes sense why they wouldn't, because they don't want to negatively affect the area that they sell the most consoles in. But on the flip side of that, it doesn't make sense why they wouldn't, given the reason that they give. They say it's because of, how did they put it? Global economic challenges and adverse currency trends is a primary reason, and also chip shortages and all that. So it costs more money to make this thing than it's costing them more. Then wouldn't you want in your biggest area where you sell most of these things, isn't that where you would want to increase the price and get more, bang for your buck? Isn't that where that would be the place that they would want? And believe me, they do want to raise the price in America. But I think that they also know that in America, that's where they will get the biggest, lashing from their customers. Because you see, the other thing that America has, now they have competition in these other areas as well, but America, by far, United States of America, by far, is where they have the biggest competition. That is where the PlayStation does not hold... the PlayStation in these many of these other markets they mentioned is top dog by far, bar none. But here in America, it's not. It is number one at the moment. But mindshare, and this is kind of across the world to a degree, but especially in America, they have their stiffest competition here in the States. And I think that they understand. I can't speak to how other countries run, but if they came here in the States and raised the price after it's already been out for 2 years now almost, and they raised that price, but their competition does not, which we're going to talk about that in a second, that would be suicide. They would be murdering themselves. How it's going to affect these other markets, I don't know. Europe is a lot like us, so as far as the UK, so I am curious as how it's going to work out over there. The prices, here's just a snippet of it. In Europe as a whole, I'm not going to talk about the digital edition. We're just going to talk about the main edition. Looks like it's going for 550 euros. I'm not sure how much it was going for. It does not tell us what it was going for before. In the UK, it's 480 pounds. Japan, 60,478 yen. Damn, I don't know how much that is, but that's just an idea. I mean, I'm sorry, it is going up in Australia. It's going up everywhere. This is fucking everywhere. Even in North America, I mean, United States of America is part of North America. It's going up in Canada. So it's effectively going up everywhere but America. I'm sure there's like some place, some little place, but everywhere. China, Australia, Japan, UK, Europe, Mexico, Canada. I'm probably not thinking of something. I'm sorry. Africa is, I didn't mention it here, but they specifically mentioned Africa. They didn't, why didn't they list it on there? Okay, whatever. But yeah, it's going up everywhere. Okay, let's just put all the bullshit aside. Why are they doing this? Because they saw that the fucking scalpers are getting shit tons of money, and they said, I want in on that. Sure, chip shortage is a thing. They lose money on every single PS5. They lose money on every single Xbox, too. That is every generation. That is how it's always been. These companies always lose money, especially in the beginning, on the consoles. They make it up on the software. That's just been the model for a long time. Now they see an opportunity. Shit, man. If people are willing to pay that much for these consoles, let's just put them out. Let's get a little bit of that. Let's get a cut. That's bullshit. You're fucking your customers. You know, I've never been the guy to sit here and just like talk shit about one company or another. If you do something stupid, I'll call you on it. And be it Microsoft, yes, I prefer the Xbox platform, the ecosystem, over the PlayStation one. I have nothing against PlayStation. I have a PlayStation. I have multiple different generations of PlayStation. Lots of games on there I enjoy. I enjoy video games. But this is fucked up. This is them knowing, or at least thinking, and they might be right, that they can take advantage of their customer, because that's what they're doing. Now, this does also go back to, I have always maintained that the only reason that the PlayStation 5 was not more money was because the Xbox's price came out a few days before they released theirs. I fully believe, there's nothing you can say to change my mind, that because if you all remember the way they were holding on to the prices, they wouldn't give the prices out of what the series consoles and the PS5s were going to be. It was like running up to like, I think September or October. I think it was September when we finally found out what they were going to be. And people were like, hey, these things are pre-orders. We want a pre-order, but we can't because nobody knows how much it's going to be. They come out in November and we still don't know how much. I feel fairly confident Sony wanted to go closer to that $600 price point, at least for the non-digital version, the disc drive version. But when Microsoft came out, and I think Microsoft was holding out. They wouldn't come out because everybody's like, when are you guys going to release these prices? I think Microsoft knew exactly how much they were willing to pay for or put out there. They were waiting to see what Sony was going to do. They wanted Sony to come out with their price because they knew that Sony could not take the hit that they wanted, and they wanted Sony to come out with their big fat price, and then Microsoft was going to come in and say $50, $100 or whatever less. And that's essentially what they did with the Series S. But they held out. It leaked what their pricing was going to be, and that's when I think at that point Microsoft just said, okay, yeah, that's it. That's our pricing. It was like a couple of days later, Sony comes out with their PlayStation matching at least the $500 price point. I feel very confident that they wanted it to be closer to $600, and now's their chance to do that. That's fucking your customer. That's not cool. That is fucked up. And that is also you looking at your customer and saying, hey, I know we can get this out of them. Let's do it. Oculus is doing it. Let's do it. Yeah, how's that working out for them? I don't know, man. There's not a whole lot more to say about this. It's happened. I didn't actually think that they would do it. I thought that they would not actually raise the price of this thing when I talked about it a couple of weeks back. But yeah, they did it. That's how ballsy they are, though. PlayStation's been very ballsy this generation, and they don't have really a reason to be. Yeah, they're in first place, but Microsoft coming right up. We're not first. They're actually in second place. Nintendo Switch is in first place, but we don't really talk about that. The other part of the story is that Nintendo and Microsoft both have come out after this news and said they both have no plans on releasing or raising the price of their consoles. So that's kind of like a slap in the face, too. It's kind of them trying to let their people know, hey, just because they did it doesn't mean we're going to. And on the side note, Microsoft, in their same statement, said, we have no plans of releasing the price of our console. And by the way, our console starts at $399 or $299 with the Xbox Series S. I was like, they just had to throw that shit in there, didn't they? They didn't say the Series X starts at $500 or $499. No, they threw the S in there to just make it seem like even more of a gulf. But whatever, man. I see this as, I don't know how it's going to affect my brothers and sisters over in the UK, Mexico, Canada, etc. But I know if you did this shit here in America, they would never hear the end of it. But I do wonder. I guess the question is not whether they will raise the price, because they fucking have. But will they do it here? Are they are they ballsy enough to do it in their biggest market, the biggest console market here in the US? What do you think will happen? Do you think they'll do it? And if so, how do you think it'll affect their business? They're already losing every day. They're losing market share or mind share to their main competition, which is Microsoft. Microsoft is slowly catching up to them, closing that gulf. Soon they will be neck and neck right here. And the PlayStation will no longer have this big, huge lead. They're going to be right here, and that's when we see who the fuck's got what it takes. I honestly think by the end of this generation, they'll still be right around. I think that this is going to be very much as far as like sales-wise, not mindshare, I think it's going to be very much a PS3, Xbox 360 generation where they end pretty much at the same place. I don't think we're going to have a last generation kind of landslide again. But there it is, guys. I mean, I could go on and on about how this is fucked up, and this is them straight up just taking advantage of their customer. Some people are defending this shit. I don't get that. They're like, oh, no, you're paying for a premium. You're paying for the best thing. No, you're not. You're paying for the same fucking thing that somebody paid however many dollars less a year or two ago. That's what you're doing. You're paying more for something that's 2 fucking years old now. That's what you're doing. And what you're doing is just sucking the dick of some corporation that gives no shits about you is what you're doing, which is fucking stupid. Because you best believe if Microsoft turned around, which I am like I said, I have a Series X and 2 S's throughout my house. I am into that ecosystem more. But if they did this, I'd be sitting there saying, that's some motherfucking bullshit. So you going to try and sell me the same fucking thing for more money? Fuck you. That's horse shit. You should have you chose that fucking price point, not me. And you chose it during the pandemic, so you knew about these fucking issues. Get the fuck out of here. But yeah, PlayStation 5, it's going up in price. It has gone up in price, not going up. How does this affect you? How about this, Sony? Why don't you worry about getting fucking consoles out there to people where they can buy your console and then worry about the price? You can't even get that shit to people so they can buy it, much less raise the fucking price to it. Worry about that first. And then see if people are willing to pay more money. Probably not. Right now, people are just more willing to it because they've kind of grown accustomed to buying shit for this crazy amount of money, which me, myself, I wouldn't fucking do. I ain't paying more than MSRP for this shit. Fuck you. But that's just me. You guys let me know in the comments below what you think of this. Is this bullshit? Can Sony suck a fat one? Or are they just doing God's work? Are they can do no wrong? Let me know what you guys think. Are you willing? Do you think it's cool? Are you okay with paying extra money for this? Terrific says PS5 is the greatest console here in the chat. Well, right on, man. I think, honestly, in my opinion, the PS5 and the Series X are pretty much the same fucking thing. What I've seen from the PS5 and what I've seen from the Series X, I mean, some people say, well, the PS5 has this great SSD, and the Series X has a faster process. You know what? I haven't seen any major difference in the games that go to both. And that is the fact. They're pretty much the same fucking thing. So, I mean, but right on. I mean, you have your preference. I have mine. That's fine. There's no problem with that. I'll still buy a PS5 when I can, says Terrific. I'm not buying an Oculus. The Oculus is cool, but that's fucked up too. They raised the price $100. I'd suck Sony's fat one for a PS5, says Terrific. Well, I don't think it's really worth that, man. Like me, I am more of a Xbox ecosystem fan, but quite honestly, I was not gonna pay. I just happened to get it on pre-orders, like when it first launched. I happened to be lucky enough. Neither of these consoles, in my opinion, is worth more than the MSRP. And honestly, it's kind of like, are they worth that MSRP right now? What do they have? What do they have that you can't play on another generation? They're a little prettier, I'll give them that. But I mean, there's nothing that's just like, holy. There's no system sellers as of yet. I mean, people keep saying, God of War Ragnarok. We have not played that yet. We don't know that. I hope it is. Maybe that'll be the first one that's just like, hell yeah, you got to have that system for this. But isn't that coming to PS4 too? I could be wrong. I don't know. But either way, we'll see. We can't say that that's going to be amazing. It is probably going to be good, I'm sure, but we'll find out. All right, let's jump into our next story of the day. And this is... Okay, I said I wasn't going to talk about this fucking story again. I said that just the other day on Saturday. Well, here we are again, talking about Batgirl. I just can't get away from it. I try not to. I did not seek out Batgirl news, but it keeps seeking me out, or seeking us out. Warner Brothers, who canceled Batgirl, by the way, a few weeks ago, is holding what is being dubbed funeral screenings for Batgirl this week. What is a funeral screening? I mean, I kind of got the idea, but I had to read to find out. A source described, it says that, according to The Hollywood Reporter, the canceled movie is being shown on the Warner Brothers lot this week to cast and crew along with representatives and executives. So it's kind of like a funeral. Hey, you can come on in and you can see what you did, and then we're going to let this thing go. Now, it goes a bit deeper than that. Discovery spent $90 million on Batgirl, but elected to cancel the film, supposedly to take a tax write-off. Okay, now that ties into something later on. Now, apparently, they're doing these funeral screenings. They're not to the public. This is just to people that worked on the movie. And as you'll recall, last Saturday when we talked about Batgirl again, the directors were attempting to access. I'm not going to say they were trying to steal it. Their comments made it seem as if they were trying to steal it, but they were at least trying to access the footage that they had shot of the movie, and they no longer could access that on the servers. So now everybody who's involved in it, apparently they're showing this. This is not an opportunity to show it and see how they react. No, this is showing the people that were part of the movie to kind of give them a, hey, one last hurrah. You can see what you did. Apparently, Warner Brothers has said that they could possibly destroy all the Batgirl footage after this to show the IRS that it will never be able to make money from the project, because apparently that's the deal about getting a tax write-off, is the IRS wants to make sure that, hey, if we give you this tax write-off for this amount of money you spent, you can't turn around with this product and just make more money off of it, because that kind of goes against the tax write-off side of it. So a gesture of that would be actually destroying all of the footage so it never can be released. Well, I've been saying for a long time that we will eventually see this movie. I don't know now, because if they destroy that shit, they are also saying in this report that there have to be some people out there that have, like some of the people involved in the movie say, there are people out there that have some of the footage. They have some of it on personal drives. All of it, they didn't say all of it, they said some of it. It's like there is footage of this movie out there. It has not been released yet, because if you do that, you'd probably be sued into oblivion. But so some of the movie is accessible out there. Now, whether Warner Brothers knows who all these people are or not, I don't know. But I do know that the Warner Brothers is not threatening, they're just saying that they may actually destroy it all. And if that happens, we might not actually see this movie. Because if they do that, then they're doing it so that they don't have to pay any of it back. They get this tax write-off. Wow, that's pretty fucking crazy, man. I do wonder if somebody's going to go into one of these funeral settings and maybe get us a cam copy of this movie sitting in an official Warner Brothers lot screening of this thing with like a video camera in their vest, and they'll be recording the Batgirl movie so we can get something of it. I don't know. Like I said, I've said all along we were going to see this thing. I don't know now. I don't know enough about the Hollywood system when it comes to these things, and if they would actually destroy it. I mean, it sounds like it sounds like Warner Brothers is over this fucking movie and they want it gone. So they might just totally erase it from the face of the fucking earth, and we might not actually ever see it. I'm sure there'll be some pictures or something we'll see at some point. I don't know. We'll find out soon, because I'm sure if they do eradicate this thing and it's just gone, they'll let everybody know, hey, shut the fuck up about it, because it's gone now. It just doesn't exist. So, but there are going to be some people out there. There's already been some people that have seen it, because they screened the movie months and months ago, because those were the screenings that apparently led to Zaslav and Co. finally saying, okay, it's not worth going forward with this thing. They're not done. They're still not done, or they're still saying that they're not done. They ballooned almost to twice their budget. What they've got sucks, and let's just get a tax write-off. So there will be some people that have seen it, but will we, the public, ever see it? Looking like there's a really good damn chance that we won't, because Warner Brothers just wants this shit gone. So tell me what you think. Do you think that they really could actually erase Batgirl from the face of the earth? I guess it depends. I mean, if the directors themselves have zero footage, I mean, there's probably not much more out there. It's weird, though. I feel like somebody will keep something. There'll be that person that keeps, like, a file on a thumb drive somewhere, and they'll just have it and be like, I've got Batgirl. In 15 years, I'll release this to the world, you know? They wouldn't do it this early. It'll probably, if they go that route, if Warner Brothers does go the route of destroying this movie, I will say this, and somebody does happen to have a copy or like a lot of it or something like that, we won't see it for a long time. I've been saying that we're going to see this thing soon. If they go to that point to where they're destroying the movie so as they can maintain their tax write-off, it'll be a long time. It'll be to the point to where nobody gives a fuck. Like with the whole Super Mario Brothers extended cut that came out or that was released. It was at like an estate sale. You know, that was 30 years later. It'll be something like that when Batgirl finally sees the time of day. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are we actually ever going to see Batgirl? Is this the last time I'm going to talk about Batgirl on this show? Probably not. It doesn't seem like it. All right, moving on to the next thing. What is the next thing? Ooh, this is one. This is a long-running story. We've been talking about this, not we on the show, but people have been talking about this thing for a long time, and it looks like it's finally getting some traffic and traction. And I am talking about Bioshock. Not the game, but the movie. They've been talking about doing a Bioshock movie for literally over a decade at this point. Since the first game came out. Gore Verbinski was working on one, the guy who made the first Pirates of the Caribbean, actually the first three. He was working on one, an R-rated one, that was supposed to be really cool, and the studio didn't want it to go R-rated, so he had to cancel it. Well, apparently, it is finally catching on. Netflix's Bioshock movie has found a director and writer, so apparently it was already greenlit. They're working on a Bioshock movie over at Netflix. And it has a director and a writer. Hunger Games director Francis Lawrence will direct the film, and Michael Green, who wrote Blade Runner 2049 and Logan, that's very promising, is writing the script. It says the Bioshock movie was announced earlier this year. I don't recall that. After years of rumor and speculation about the project, Netflix is producing the film alongside rights owner Take-Two. That's the video game company that owns the rights and publishes the game or published the games. Netflix put out a tweet that says, Bioshock, our live-action feature film adaptation of renowned video game franchise, will be directed by Francis Lawrence. I Am Legend, Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Slumberland, from a script written by Michael Green, Logan, Blade Runner 2049, and American Gods. Okay, that's about all we got on it. It does talk about the whole Gore Verbinski thing from a while back. We don't really have any other information about it at the time, what it'll be rated, what direction it's going. But me, myself, I'll just say I am pretty hyped about this. Bioshock is ripe for a movie adaptation because it had a really kick-ass story and just the setting. The setting of the first two Bioshock games was fucking amazing. I do think that they need to go more the R-rated route because that was a very mature rated game. Not just in like what it shows, but yeah, it's going to show some pretty, or it would probably show some pretty raunchy, or not raunchy, but gnarly stuff. But the themes of that game are very adult. It's not a kiddie family game. It's very adult in its themes. Lots of, with the stuff going on with Ryan, wasn't him, I keep wanting to say Jim Ryan, that's the PlayStation guy, but I can't remember, Ryan, whatever his name was, the guy who ran what is the name of the place that they live in? I want to say Atlas, that's the other character. I don't know. Rapture, the city of Rapture. I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I hope they pump some money into it because if it does take place in Rapture, which I'm sure it will, that's going to be an expensive, there's no place. You have to build that, and that's going to be an expensive set. So hope they put that Resident Evil money into it because, I didn't mention it. I'm going to go ahead and mention it here because it's not worth much. Resident Evil, the Netflix show, canceled. It's not getting a season 2. And I just got to say, apparently there is a God. Because that show sucked balls, and it did not need to go any further. Hopefully they take the money from that and put it into this. I don't know. But Bioshock was, if you haven't played it, absolutely play it. The first one especially. The first one is amazing. Terrible final boss fight. But just the story and everything is fucking awesome. The second one was good. It had some really good DLC. But the first one, that is where it's at. Play Bioshock. It's out there in pretty much every possible way you could want to buy it. Awesome game. Definitely ripe for a film adaptation. Hope they don't screw it up. Hope this is one of the good ones. Hope whenever this comes out in a year or two or whenever, we end up calling this one of the best video games movies ever made. Could be super creepy and super weird and really, or like horrifying. I could even see this being a show. Rapture, I could see Resident Evil could make a good show. Not Resident Evil, I'm sorry. No, it made a terrible show. I could see Bioshock making a really good show, like a Netflix show or something like that. So, just saying. As it says they're working on a movie. Well, I'll take the movie too. But I could see a show. Just saying, Netflix. If you want to throw me a Bioshock show, I'll take it. As long as you don't, it's made by everybody. Nobody who was involved with the Resident Evil show needs to be involved with it. But that's just my take. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you think that the Bioshock movie is a good idea, bad idea, what you want out of it. If you're a Bioshock fan or you're just like, Bio what? What the hell's that? Well, check it out. It's a 360 game. Okay, now that's about it. That's all we got for Bioshock. I do have more stories we're going to talk about. Let's check out this chat over here, and then I'm going to give you guys a little review. Looks like Terrific saying, I'm transitioning to the Xbox, but I'm a PS fan at heart. I hear you. Game Pass is honestly dragging me towards Xbox. Yeah, I don't blame you there, because Game Pass is an amazing service, and it's definitely that. I mean, that's their big ace in the hole. I mean, this is a great console too. And the PS5 is a good console. I think they're both good consoles. I just think Xbox is making Microsoft is making all the right moves this generation, and PlayStation just seems like they're making the wrong ones. They literally right now, in my opinion, are riding off of PS4 hype. That is what they're riding off of. They're riding off of last gen, and that's only going to get you so far. And it didn't, that because Microsoft is just slowly but surely gaining ground and definitely gaining mind share. They are the good guys all around right now, and PlayStation continues to be the bad guys. And even though they have a ridiculous fan base that just will let them fuck them in the ass constantly, eventually that's going to backfire on them. Just say it. That's my opinion. Alrighty, let's talk about a movie. Now, usually I have these pre-recorded for the show. I had planned on pre-recording this one, but unfortunately, I didn't have the time to do that. I had some stuff come up. Like I said, this week's been kind of crazy, so I'm going to do it live. I'm going to do this review live, and I'm going to show you how it is, show you guys how I typically record a video. It'll be a little bit different. Of course, I'm not going to take as many pauses, but this is just shooting from the hip. We're going to talk about a movie called The Samaritan. Just recently came out on Amazon Prime. I actually got to see it a few days early, but I didn't have a chance to review it, so now here I am. It's already out, so if you're interested in this after watching this review, go check it out over there on Amazon Prime. So yeah, just want to give a few thoughts about this movie and tell you guys what I thought about it. It's to give you a quick rundown of the movie, of what it's got going on with it. It is a Sylvester Stallone flick. It's brought to us by Julius Avery, which is the director. And Sylvester Stallone, the basic rundown of it is, a young boy learns that a superhero who was thought to have gone missing after an epic battle 20 years ago may, in fact, still be around. Sounds like some riveting shit. Well, really what it is this is not, as far as I know, this is not based on any type of comic book or anything like that. This is its own creation. And we got this... Oh, my camera just... Hang on. Sorry about that. Plagued with technical issues today. My camera crashed. What's up, Henry boy? Okay. Let's jump back into that by myself today. Let's talk about The Samaritan. So it's ultimately this superhero 90s action superhero flick. That's what I got from it. It really had a very 90s superhero dumb action movie feel to it. Whether that's a good thing or not, that's up to you. Me, myself, I kind of liked it. I liked parts of it. I liked that about it. I didn't know what I was expecting from this movie. I saw the trailer. It looked interesting, and the trailer is pretty much what you get. If you liked the trailer, you're probably going to like this movie. Now, I'm going to say there is a spoiler in this movie, or for this movie. There's only really one thing to spoil. When you go into this movie, what you get, what you think you're going to get, if you watch that trailer, is pretty much what you get. But there is a spoiler. I'm going to talk about that closer to the end, and I'll give you guys a spoiler warning. It's not a lot to talk about, but it is an important big thing, and I do want to mention it. But let's just say that, yes, there is a thing that happens, and it doesn't happen until the end of the movie, but I was watching it with someone, 5 or 10 minutes in, said, hey, this is what's going on. And that's exactly what it was. And my understanding is I'm not the only person out there. I don't think I'm some prophet. Other people have made that call too. So just know that going in, yeah, there is a spoiler thing. Some people, maybe you won't pick up on it, but it's. I thought it was kind of telegraphed a bit. It wasn't like telegraphed bad. It was just a vibe I picked up on. But I still enjoyed the movie as a whole. We got this really shitty rundown city called Granite City. And this little boy who's like 13. And he's just kind of in the shit. He's always like running with like the wrong crowd. And he's just trying to make ends meet. Him and his mom have like a really rough time. They don't have money. He does like little... they are illegal things. It's like more smash and grabs. He's more working with other kids that are like part of this criminal organization just to make a little bit of money here or there. He gets involved with the main villain of the movie. Now, this villain, I can't even remember his name. He is pretty damn shallow, but he gets the job done. He's bad. He's a bad guy who wants to be bad. He has a reason, I guess, for wanting to be bad. In this world, by the way, there used to be superheroes. There was the Samaritan, and then there was Nemesis. They were brothers. They were both superpowered. It never says why, how they came about, or any. It does not give an explanation, and I'm okay with that because the movie just doesn't give a fuck. It says that they existed. It acknowledges that they were different from everyone else, and it's like, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about that they did exist. They apparently got in this big fight one day and killed each other, and they haven't been seen. Well, they just disappeared. They haven't been seen since. Everyone assumes that they are dead. So the city has kind of fallen into turmoil. It's just kind of, it looks like fucking Detroit. Honestly, it's just kind of a shithole. So there's this guy, Sylvester Stallone, who lives in this kid's apartment block. And one day the kid sees him. The kid's getting beat up by some other kids, and Sylvester Stallone's character comes and saves him or helps him out. Beats the shit out of these kids, by the way. So a grown adult beating up some kids. And one of them tries to stab him, and the knife like bends, or he grabs it and it bends. And the kid becomes convinced, because he's kind of obsessed with the Samaritan. He becomes convinced that, hey, you're the Samaritan. You're just in hiding. And lo and behold, we find out that, yes, Stallone is superpowered. He is in hiding after this big thing that happens. He doesn't tell the kid right away what happened with him and his brother, but yeah, that's him. So then we kind of have like this team up thing where the kid is like wanting to like learn more about him and why he is the way he is. I won't get into that and ruin any of that, but he's been in hiding. He doesn't want to get out there and help. It's pretty much like, oh, the war, and the trailer tells you most of this stuff. I'm not spoiling anything. That, oh, you know what? I'm not helping. There's nothing I can do. This world is going to shit. No matter what you do, it just gets worse. Me doing anything wasn't helping anything. So it's kind of down on his luck. Of course, the kid gets in trouble, and the villain comes along, and that is what calls Sylvester Stallone out. It's the story that you expect. We get some decent action, some pretty good special effects, with the exception of one that we'll talk about in a minute. And overall, the performances they're fine. They work for what this story needs. This is not Academy Award winning stuff, but it's all solid. I enjoyed my time with this. If you like those dumb action, check your brain at the door superheroes 90s flicks, you'll have a good time here. I will say that the movie is rated PG-13, but I feel like it wanted to be rated R. Like, they wanted an R rating here, but they never quite wanted to commit to it. And I don't know if that was a studio thing or what, but it does push some boundaries for PG-13 in the language and violence department. There's some things that happen that are pretty brutal. It's not like, it is PG-13, but it is like right there on the edge of PG-13. I bet they had to cut some stuff out. And with the language too, and the people that are saying the stuff and what they say, it is pretty hardcore for a PG-13 movie. I'll give it that. Because there was actually a point while watching it, I had to stop and say, what is this rated? Because I thought it was rated R. I thought it was originally PG-13. While watching it, I was like, I think this is rated R. But no, it is PG-13. And it does push those boundaries, though. Overall, it kind of has a jovial, I don't give a fuck about the details attitude, like I mentioned a moment ago. And I can appreciate that to a degree. It does not get... Because I feel like if this movie had started going into too much detail about what's going on in this thing, with why these guys are the way they, or were the way they are, and why it just says, no, this is the world, accept it. We're not here to tell you why. Just know that it exists. These things happened. And I'm cool with that. I don't want it to get bogged down with all that. The movie's fairly short. It's only about an hour and a half long. It didn't need to be any longer. It was just right. I mean, I had a good time with this. I know some people have been giving it a hard time, saying, oh, it's kind of, empty and vapid and it doesn't have a lot going on there. Not a lot in between the ears, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting this movie to be the next greatest film ever made, but it was entertaining, and that's what I want out of my movies, and that's what it gave me. It was overall pretty harmless, fun movie, and it was solid. Is it going to be in my top 10? No. Is it going to be in my bottom 10? No. It's going to just be an enjoyably solid movie that I had a pretty good time with for the night. So, of course, on my scale, I would say, and on the twist, we'll talk about specifics about that twist spoiler-wise in a minute. I thought the twist was actually a really good twist. It was an interesting twist. I just hate that I picked it out early. If I hadn't picked out that twist earlier, it would have been even more impactful. I like the twist. I thought the twist was a really good thing, but there was something, and I can't even put my finger on it because I only watched the movie once. There was just something about it, something that was going on that I picked out this twist specifically. I knew right. I was like, this is what's going on, and it was only a few minutes into the movie, and sure enough, that was it. That's unfortunate. It didn't ruin it, like I said, but when it happened, I was just like, told ya. That's what's going on. And that is what was going on. I wish they had, I guess, hidden that a little bit better. I don't know what they did to alert me to that, because it was nothing that was too in your face, but there was just something that gave it away, and I picked it out. Hopefully you won't. Unless you watch the spoiler we're going to talk about it in a minute, then you'll know what it is. But yeah, movie, harmless, B-movie, 90s, dumb fun. I had a good time with it. Where it sits on a streaming platform is exactly where I'd put it, because this is absolutely worth checking out on streaming. I wouldn't necessarily spend a whole lot of money on it, but it's a good time. I'd like to see it. I don't need a sequel or anything like that. We'll see how well it does, if it gets sequels or not. But you guys let me know in the comments below what you thought about it, if you've seen it. Have you seen The Samaritan? Did you like it? Or not The Samaritan, it's just called Samaritan. Did you like it? What about that twist? Because that's the part that most people are going to talk about. You think the twist was... Did you pick out the twist early? Just curious, or was it just me? I know it wasn't just me, but just curious how many people are picking out this twist. All right, now speaking of that twist, let's talk spoilers for just a minute. So if you have seen The Samaritan and you want to hear my thoughts on that twist, stay along. If you have not seen The Samaritan and you don't want it to be ruined, I'm going to say I don't think that this twist will ruin anything, but I would have preferred not knowing it. So if you haven't seen it and you really don't want anything spoiled, tune out for about 5 minutes and come back, because I'm not going to talk about this long, because there's not a lot to talk about. So you've been warned. I'm about to talk about Samaritan spoilers, FYI, for about the next 3, 4, 5 minutes. Okay, so the big spoiler in the movie is, yes, we know from the trailer that Sylvester Stallone's character is this superhuman being, and he is, the Samaritan, right? No, wrong. I picked it out early on. He was actually the bad guy. He's the Nemesis. So you got the Samaritan, or you have Samaritan and Nemesis, two brothers. They fought. Somebody died, or they killed each other, or whatever. They disappeared. Samaritan was the good guy. He thinks that that's who this is, and the whole movie keeps calling him Samaritan. But there was something about it. He never referred to himself that way, and just certain things he said, I was like, he's not Samaritan. He's Nemesis. He's the bad guy. Now, he has kind of like turned around. He doesn't want to be bad. But also we find as the movie goes on, everybody like the criminals of the world kind of like puts Nemesis on this pedestal, and they want to be like him. And that ties into the movie as well. But we find out that, no, that wasn't what I was trying to do. I wasn't trying to, like, he says, it was never about destroying the world. He had a different way of looking at things, and he thought things should have been more brutal, but he wasn't as bad as they thought he was. Now, and who actually died in the beginning of the movie, which was years ago, was a Samaritan. Or Samaritan died accidentally, and Nemesis was trying to save his brother's life, and he died. And that was one of the things that made him, go away from all of the shit. So yeah, he's the bad guy the whole time. We find out in the end when they keep calling, when he's fighting the big bad guy of the movie, he's all like, "You're the good guy," and the good guys lose. And he like grabs the big hammer thing. And he's like, "I'm not the good guy." And then we find out, I'm the Nemesis. I was Nemesis. And he starts whooping a bunch of people's asses and getting a little bit more brutal. Now, me myself personally, I would have preferred this more if he had gone like hardcore brutal at that part and just shown like that's how badass Nemesis was. He didn't quite. He did kill some people and he did like start beating some ass. But once again, it was a little bit wasted on me because I had picked it early on. That was the big twist. It is a cool twist. I'll give it that. It is something new and something interesting for this genre, and I do appreciate that, but I don't know, something about it early on gave it away, and I did. I picked that out exactly. Like, that is exactly, I was like, that is what's going on here, and that is what it was. I already mentioned this, but I don't think it was anything just in your face, but it was something about the way that this movie was working out. It gave it away, and they should have just kept it a little bit more under wraps. But that's it. That's the spoiler of the movie, guys. I mean, was knowing that ruin the movie? No, but it does take a little bit away from it, admittedly. So, what'd you guys think? Did you here in the chat? Have any of you guys seen Samaritan on Amazon Prime? And what do you think of that spoiler? Does it sound like what do you think of that twist? Does it sound like a worthy twist, or is that just kind of like, what the hell is that? Wah, wah, wah shit. I don't know. Looks like Antonio's back. Henry Boy says, is it good? Yeah, it's good. It's worth watching. Where it's at, perfect. Streaming, that's where this movie needed to be, and I'm happy with it there. Dude, my barber double booked my appointment, so sorry I'm late. Hey, no problem, Antonio. Probably because I never tip. Without your twist in mind, and I'll be surprised. I'll check it out for sure. Without the twist in mind. Okay. It's worth, yeah, it is worth, I think it's worth watching. It's worth checking. I had a good time with it. I continuously expected it to go bad. The whole time I was watching it, I was like, all right, we're coming up on the part where it's going to start losing me. And it never did. It never blew me away either. But it kept me entertained, and it kept me engaged and entertained the whole time. I was not just like blown away thinking this is the next best fucking movie ever made, but I was entertained. It was a good time. Definitely check it out. Yeah, Nick he got called away this episode last minute, so it's just me. All right, so that's The Samaritan. Spoilers and all. Let me know what you guys thought once you've seen it. I know that's a little bit different version of my reviews than I usually do, but like I said, I wasn't able to pre-record it, and if I didn't go ahead and do it today, I wasn't going to do a review of this movie because it's been out a couple of days now already. But yeah, yay me. See a movie early and don't even and review it after it came out. Whatever. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. We got 3 more? Yeah, 3 more topics of the night or evening, afternoon. Where the hell am I? I don't know. Some smaller stories, but stuff I'm interested in. So this, we're going to move into a bit of a more unfortunate story. I guess there's some silver linings to it, and we're going to talk, as I don't think a week can go by without mentioning Warner Brothers or something Warner Brothers related. We are going to talk about primarily Aquaman. Or Aquaman 2, or Aquaman what are they calling it? The Lost Kingdom, I believe. But it has been, unfortunately, delayed. Dun dun dun. Shocker. Well, it's a Warner Brothers property, by the way. But it's not the only one. Let's take a look at this news here. DC has delayed Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Aquaman. Both of them pushed back. Aquaman has been pushed, or the Aquaman sequel has been pushed back from December 16th, 2022. I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was next year. To March 17th, 2023. Well, that's not that bad. See, I actually misread that. I thought this was coming out Christmas of next year. So that's not too bad. And it looks like the DC installment is getting shifted once more. Oh, I'm sorry. I was right. What in the hell? This is terrible. This is even worse than I thought. It was December 16th, 2022. It got pushed back to December 17th, 2023. And now it's getting shifted again, and now it is December 25th, 2023. So yeah, it's not Christmas season. It's coming out Christmas Day of 2023. Aquaman is just not... That's a summer movie, man. That's not... Why is that coming out on Christmas Day of 2023? That is not a good... Jesus Christ. How'd that work out for, what was it? Wonder Woman. That was like one of the first big movies to come out on HBO Max, so it had that going for it. But it came out Christmas Day of 2021, I believe it was. Right? Yeah. Pretty sure that was 2020. Yeah, 2021. It came out Christmas Day. I remember that. I don't think it did so hot. Which is the same release window for the initial December 2022 premiere date. Yeah, but that's just... Aquaman is not a Christmas movie. Put that out in summer. Damn. Why? Just put it out next summer. If you can't make that... March would have been okay, because it was going to be March 17th, 2023. I could see that, but not Christmas. That's just me. Also, Shazam! Fury of the Gods will take over the vacant Aquaman 2 premiere date, this time delayed until March 17th, 2023. So Shazam! Fury of the Gods was supposed to come out this year, but it's finally been pushed out. We have found actually that most of the movies, with the exception of Black Adam and one other, have been pushed out until next year. So 2022 and Warner Brothers, you're not going to see that big Warner Brothers shield at movie theaters for a while, or at least for this year. In addition, DC Game of Musical Chairs, the HBO Max titles are now getting theatrical premieres. House Party is set for December 9th, 2022. See, we were talking about that in a show on Saturday. It said something, or no, this was a few weeks back. It was talking about House Party, and I was like, I didn't even know a new House Party was coming. Apparently, there's going to be a HBO Max thing. Now it's coming to theaters on the 9th of this year, December 9th of this year. And Evil Dead Rise, that's one we've heard about for a long time, finally has a release date. It will be April 21st, 2023, but it's not just going straight to HBO Max. It's getting a theatrical release. Whether it'll be on HBO Max as well, I do not know. Upcoming Warner Brothers titles also now include The Nun 2, which we talked about a few minutes ago. And, actually, that has a actual release date. I was talking about that earlier, and I said I don't know when the release date is. Just fall. It is September 8th, 2023, so right over a year from now. And Stephen King's Salem's Lot, which has already been made, I think, is being pushed to TBD in 2023. It was originally supposed to come out April 21st, 2023. So that one's being pushed out to some point in 2023. Good for them. Lots of pushings around and all that stuff. Warner Brothers, man, I know people are saying that Warner Brothers is in such bad shape when compared to other mergers. I don't think so. I think, as I mentioned with the whole Batgirl thing a while ago, I think they're in pretty much the same spot. That the same kind of growing pains that Disney and Marvel were going through, and Star Wars and Disney and all those big mergers of recent years. Fox had a lot of things like that when Disney took them over. We just didn't hear about every single fucking step. They kept that stuff under wraps. For whatever reason, everything that goes on with Warner Brothers is so publicized right now. We hear about every single little shift. I think this same stuff happened with other companies. We just didn't know when a lot of the stuff was shifting. It was shifting behind the scenes, and we didn't hear about it. But I do know that the whole Marvel thing apparently was a lot of turmoil, and Star Wars was too. But we didn't hear about it until years later. We're hearing about this as it happens, and it makes it sound like such a fucking shit show. I will say, they need to get that shit under control. Get your company, get whoever's letting this shit out and putting it out there, reel in all the Warner Brothers shit, Discovery. Bring it on in. Close the fucking door and just put in the thing saying under construction. Let everybody know we'll get back with you in 6 months. Let us figure all this shit out. We'll get back with you. That's what they fucking need to do. They need to get this shit shut down so nobody's hearing about all this shit. In 3, 4, 5, 6 months, come up and say, okay, new Warner Brothers Discovery, here's what's going on when you've got your shit together. Because right now, it's not. And I think it could be a good thing, all this restructuring and everything. It clearly needed to happen. But we did not need to hear about every single move that you guys make because it's all being blown just crazy. And it is damaging the brand. It's damaging the brand, and it's damaging your company, and it's damaging these movies that are coming soon. People are not going to look at them with the same confidence. Just saying. Figure this shit out. But, hey, House Party is coming out this year. I think it's a LeBron James house party, so that kind of taints it a little bit in my eyes. But coming, nonetheless. Old school House Party fans, we're getting a House Party movie. And Aquaman, he's coming in Christmas present for 2023. You get Jason Momoa's Aquaman, Lost Kingdom. I wonder if Amber Heard will be in it. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you guys even give a shit about this. But, well, if you think Aquaman and Shazam and all that's going to be any good, we'll find out, I guess. Alrighty, so next on the slab of the show, we're going to talk about fantastic. Nope, we're not. I just gave you a preview of what we're going to talk about in a few minutes. We're going to talk about Godzilla vs. Kong 2, or the sequel. I doubt they're going to call it Godzilla vs. Kong 2. It is the follow-up to Godzilla vs. Kong, and that it is actually in production and being worked on, and who all's involved with that. Yes, this movie is moving forward. There's been a lot of... it is the follow-up, it is the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong, but that is the follow-up within this universe. It is not confirmed as of yet whether Godzilla and or Kong will both be involved in this movie. Godzilla being the one that people are wondering about because he is actually owned by Toho Studios. They have to give their approval, and there have been people talking about that Godzilla might not even be involved in this one. Kong, though, it's pretty much said that he will be. Many people have speculated that this is going to take place in the Hollow Earth because that's, I believe, where we left Kong at the end of Godzilla vs. Kong, and there's a lot of new adventures that could go on there. Either way, the movie is being directed. Pretty much a lot of the people that were with the last film, the more popular of all the Godzilla Monsterverse movies, I think is what we call it, they're involved. It looks like Adam Wingard is back to direct, and he is the one who directed that one. I really like that movie. He's released some set photos. I don't have them here, but it's just really him pointing to directors or pointing around to his actors and stuff, saying, hey, this and that and the other. Nothing really amazing. It just shows that they are actually filming this movie right now. The movie is being made at the moment. It doesn't really give a date that it's going to be coming out or anything like this. This is more just an informational thing that if you're a fan of the Monsterverse and Godzilla vs. Kong, we're going to get more, at least Kong action coming here soon. And I'm curious if this is going to come to HBO Max at all, much less when on launch. I doubt it'll come at release like the last one did. Legendary Pictures, who actually made the movie, weren't too happy about that. But I know that Warner Brothers is involved in the Monsterverse, so Legendary Pictures might not have a choice. We'll see what happens. It does say that the as-yet untitled sequel is the latest entry in Warner Brothers and Legendary Pictures' Monsterverse following the showdown Godzilla and Kong had in 2021 film. Plot details are slim, but Business Wire has the scoop that the new film pits Kong and Godzilla. Okay, so they're saying that they will both be back here. This is not confirmed, though. That it will pit Kong and Godzilla against a colossal undiscovered threat hidden within our world, challenging their very existence and our own. In addition, the new film promises more about the history of the Titans, the origins of Skull Island, and the mythical ancient battles that caused the Titans to become tied with humankind in the first place. Sounds cool. Also looks like Wingard is back, as I mentioned a moment ago, and I don't know these other. Rebecca Hall, she'll be back. Didn't she die? No, she didn't die. Rebecca Hall will be back. And I don't notice the Tyree Henry. He's back. Yeah, not a lot more known, guys. But I mean, that little thing right there of Godzilla and Kong coming together to fight a bigger threat like they did last time sounds cool, but isn't that what we did with the last movie? I don't know. Are they like just hanging out down there in the Middle Earth, not Middle Earth, in the Hollow Earth? Just bros, Godzilla and Kong at it again, and then they're going to come together to fight this big thing? I don't know. Hopefully they do something. Adam Wingard makes some good flicks. He's a good director. He knows how to direct an entertaining flick, so I'll put my trust in him. I'm just curious as to what this movie's going to be, what direction it's going to go. And is Godzilla even going to be in it? I don't know. You guys let me know. Not a lot going on there, like I said, but hey, there's something. If you're interested in Godzilla, Kong, and the MonsterVerse, get a little bit of news. It is being made right now. So we can go ahead and hang up the wonder if this thing's going to be made. Yes, it is going to be made. It is being made at the moment. Let me know if you're excited to hear or to see this movie. And I imagine we'll probably see it in about a year or so. It doesn't have a release date as of yet, but it's coming. More MonsterVerse. Okie doke, let's move into the last story of the day, the one I teased a moment ago. Fantastic Four, or Marvel's MCU Fantastic Four. We got a little bit of info on that. They have found their director. Well, kind of. They're in talks with who they want to direct it. Matt Shakman, the veteran TV director who ushered Marvel Studios into the age of television, is in early talks to make the jump to the MCU features with Fantastic Four, according to sources. Shotman became a Marvel favorite with the Emmy-winning WandaVision, the first MCU series released for Disney+. He came up as a director on FX's running comedy It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, before graduating to event storytelling with Game of Thrones in 2021. Paramount tapped him to direct the next Star Trek film, which is currently dated for December 22nd, 2023. Yeah, right. Let's see if that happens. It's unclear if he will remain involved with that. So, yeah, and apparently they're wanting him to direct Fantastic Four. Me, myself, personally, I don't have a problem with this. I wasn't a fan of WandaVision. I thought it was okay. I thought it was way too long. It did not need... They needed to shave off 2 episodes. Especially early on, and it ended like it did Marvel. By the end, it lost all of the interesting things it was doing in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end, it just said, "We're Marvel." It just threw all that aside and became a Marvel movie. I mean, it was fine, but beyond being a bit long-winded, I was okay with it. Now, as far as like directing, the directing was good. So him as a director, he didn't write it. He was just directing it. So, yeah, he's not a terrible director. I mean, what I've seen from him, he was involved in Game of Thrones at some point in time, so he did something there. And his Always Sunny in Philadelphia, I mean, it's a funny show. I don't know if directing prowess is really not a lot there. It's very much a handheld show from what I remember. But, yeah, I think the guy would be good for it. I don't think we need a Fantastic Four movie. This is just another place where Marvel is just throwing everything at the wall. We don't need a Fantastic Four movie. Could it be good? Sure. But every single fucking one that's come out so far has not been. Will they do it? Yeah, they'll probably just make it Marvel, which it'll be just like everything else. And at that point, why do we need that? Fantastic Four... I feel like they're going to lose their identity becoming part of the MCU because they'll just be like every other MCU thing at this point. But I don't have a lot of faith in Marvel right now. They have, the past couple of years, have not been good in my opinion. Marvel has headed down a bad road. I'm hoping they come back. I hope Blade's good. I hope some of this other stuff is good. But man, the last few Marvel projects I've seen, I was not impressed with. And no, I don't count Spider-Man because that was kind of a Marvel Sony thing. Sony was involved with that. But like Doctor Strange... I wasn't blown away by it. Thor: Love and Thunder sucked balls. Or that movie's not good. Not good. I was really hoping it would be. The Eternals sucked. Black Widow was just bland. I mean, everything's been bland or suck. Or just nothing good. Nothing great. There hasn't been anything great. Shang-Chi was... it was okay. People talk about how great it was. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed parts of it, but then when it got to the end, once again, it just marveled. There's nothing new. Give me something new, man. Be fresh. What happened to that Marvel? I want that fucking Marvel back. Give me the Phase 2 and 3 Marvel again. That was great Marvel. I don't know what the fuck this shit is you got now. But anyway, Fantastic Four, it's coming, and they have their director, and he's a seasoned enough director. He's done some stuff, and he's worked with Marvel before, and he did a solid job. So, hey, let me know what you guys think about that. I don't have anybody here with me to bounce this off of and ask what they think of it, so that's really all there is to talk about. It's just me this week. But I'm not offended by this. I'm not blown away by it either. I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm sure it'll be solidly made. It's Fantastic Four, though. Doesn't have a good track record thus far. I'm sure it'll be Marvel. Yay. Will it be Marvelous, though? Probably not. It'll just be Marvel. Okay, everybody. That's what I got for the show this week, man. I know. I told you guys it would be a bit shorter one, and it was. We're at right under an hour and a half so far. But that's all I really got this week. Not a lot. When you're by yourself, there's nobody else to inject their own ideas and opinions on it. It's just me. Plus, there just really wasn't a lot going on since last Wednesday. Not a whole lot of stuff. We had that Sony story with the PlayStation 5. That was a big thing. And the Batgirl thing. Beyond that, just not a lot to report on. There's some talking points, but nobody to really talk to about it. But we will be back in normal full force on Wednesday, Nick and myself, so we can sit here and have the show like we usually do. I do plan on streaming. I'm not going to pick it up, but I got all but one part, many of the parts for my Ultimate Dreamcast. So I will be doing a part 2 to that video where we build the rest of that out. It's right there. I see it just in pieces. We will be doing the rest of those modifications, the HDMI modification, the fan modification, the light, and some other stuff. I will be doing that stuff early next week. It will not be this weekend. I know that I have to go somewhere tomorrow, and today I'm busy. But like Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I'm going to go with Monday or Tuesday probably, I will be doing at some point. I don't know when right now, unfortunately, but I'll try and throw it up a little early so you guys know when, and I will do the rest of that modification except for that one part. There's one final part I have to put on it, but it's a really easy part and it's on top. We will more or less be able to put this thing together and see what it's going to look like and see its functionality to a degree. That is coming, like I said, early next week. Catch us on the show next Wednesday at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, per usual. That's it, guys. Join my what are those things? The memberships or membership. I've only got one right now. Join that. Check me out on Twitter. Check me out on YouTube, which if you're watching this, you already are. Sorry there wasn't more interesting stuff going on this week, but that's or the second half of this week, but that's just what it is. That's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. There's not much going on. Plus, most of this stuff was just not much fun to talk about without somebody to talk about it with. We will be having a guest come on soon. I have a couple of movies that I do want to talk about. I will be doing one of my Patreon requested videos also either Wednesday or the following Saturday. So we will be having some other movies to review with people, some of those older, forgotten, interesting little movies. I am looking forward to talking about those. And I do have at least 1 or 2 reviews outside of the show coming this week as well of some movies I am seeing, one of which I've already seen. I just got to check the embargo date on that. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. It looks like Antonio is back. Terrific was here. I know it's a smaller show, not as many people here to check it out. That's cool though. Looks like Antonio says no Nick, no cool man as always, do it. It's a shame. Amber Turd, yeah, Amber Turd. I bet they're trying to cut her out of that movie all the way. We'll see though, because they are doing reshoots on it as well. The Nun 2, well, I'm excited for that. That was actually one of the earlier stories I did on this episode. We talked about the Nun 2 specifically. I was wondering that because I didn't think that anybody liked that movie. The Nun scared the crap out of me. All right. What the fuck? No. Kid and Play are a lot. Yeah. But I don't think they're going to be in this movie. I think it's LeBron James. Why do we need LeBron? I'm definitely interested in it. My dad loved the first ones. I don't know what you're talking about there. You're right. The first two wasn't Marvel by. You're the man. OG stream. I don't know if I'm an OG streamer. It's all interesting. News is the news. Yeah, it is the news is the news. That's all I can talk about. But all right, guys, thanks for hanging out. Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla vs Kong. That was a good movie. I really enjoyed that movie. But that's all I got. I'm gonna get out of here. I got shizzle to do, and I gotta get some other videos out and ready to go for you guys' consumption. Like I said, sorry it's a bit lighter show. Is what it is. I appreciate you guys all coming and hanging out. Thanks to all my members. Got Terrific and Antonio as my first members here on the tubes. Everybody else, check it out, and I will see you guys on, what day is that? Wednesday. Hopefully before. Be on the lookout for that stream dropping about the Dreamcast. Bye.